Welcome to Urbane Legends, the podcast about urban legends and how to act in a courteous and refined manner, but much less about that. Here's your hosts, Neil and Chris.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Urbane Legends. I hope you all had a lovely week full of joy and whimsy. I am, of course, 85-year-old cabinet maker Chris Flynn. And with me, as always, is Michael Portillo, spin doctor, Mr.
Neil Herbert.
How's it going, Neil?
It's been quite quiet recently. There's not a lot of spinning needed for Mr. Portillo these days. He's
No, he just goes on trains, doesn't he?
He's about trains, yeah. I'd say boring. They're quite interesting, to be fair.
He likes going on trains dressed as Rupert the Bear, doesn't he?
So how get out of trouble occasionally, you know. But
why is that? Just gets attacked by goblins, that kind of thing, like Rupert the Bear? Did you used to read Rupert the Bear when you were a youngster? Did you read any of his books?
I never did, actually. I remember Winnie the Pooh and stuff. But I don't know, Rupert the Bear, I don't know. I think even when I was a kid, I found him a bit twee and irritating.
Oh, I've read them. I've quite liked them, I think, when I was a kid. But I couldn't tell you any of the storylines because I haven't read them since I was a kid, basically. Like same as Noddy. I quite liked those books when I was a kid.
When I was a kid.
Is that Enid Blyton?
Enid Blyton, yeah.
One of her less racist books, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
You know, but don't really know. We've talked about Enid Blyton's checkered past, haven't we, in previous episodes? So
maybe some of the, yeah. I mean, it's probably overplayed. To be honest with you, I don't know. I'd have to.
Yeah.
You could probably take most of the story.
Can't say anything these days, can you? Now?
Can you? Council culture. So no, you could probably just talk about removing like the sentence here and there. Do you know what I mean? You ruin them and they'd be fine. I suspect.
I don't know whether.
Not gone back.
Don't know whether it was on purpose. I mean, I didn't read anything like The Famous Five because I found that kind of shit boring because it was just kids running around being kids, right? I liked the magical stuff like Magic Faraway Tree and Noddy and stuff like that.
The Famous Five was the one that was my jam when I was a kid because they're solving mysteries and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're kids. Boring. Yeah. I need a man made out of pots and pans. Thanks very much.
So they just get.
Otherwise, I'm not going. Otherwise, mother, I'm not going to sleep. How did you get into the spin doctoring game? Presumably you did politics at Oxford, and then your parents funded you while you did an unpaid internship.
Just generally, you know, a natural talent and inclination for lying and profiteering. You know, send you in that direction.
Well, that's good. And have you been? Since Portillo's gone out of politics, I mean, obviously, he still needs a bit of spin. Do you know what I mean? What he gets up to in the shadows.
I mean, I've got my eye on, you know, some people, and I think wrongly, and I think, you know, it says more about them than it does about the people they're talking about. But Newcastle, one of our finest football clubs, Chris, been taken recently, and some of the vitriol I've seen.
Disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah, towards the Saudi royal family, you know, who just to be clear, are in no way affiliated with the deal.
No, nothing to do with it. It's a Saudi investment fund.
Well, people say, it's Saudi investment, completely different, completely divested. Unless I've been depressed about some of the comments that I've seen. So, you know, hey, if anyone in Newcastle Football Club wants a spin doctor to help turn this story into a win.
Well, I like the fact that
in a blower.
I like the fact that the sort of what they say on one hand, the Newcastle fan is, we're a bit torn-legged because of, you know, human rights records. And then they're all going to the matches dressed in like Saudi headgear and stuff, which they were initially told not to do. And then the club went, fuck it, just do it. And they're all going with like, what do you call them? Headdresses?
Oh, yeah, I looked this up the other day and I've completely forgotten. I'm not going to just guess. I'm just going to get it wrong, but I do know what you mean. It's like
traditional sort of Saudi hats.
A square handkerchief with the sort of bands over the top. I literally looked up what they were called the other day.
But now the fans are all wearing that because they're so torn.
I mean, to an extent, it's kind of like Yeah, I can see why they're excited because it might be a bit. But I mean, the thing is, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like, oh, football's all about money now. Or, I mean, that's
It is, yeah. But it always has been.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue going back to when it first became professional, people started saying things like that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's hey, late stage capitalism. It's not just football. It's an easy one to point fingers at, but I mean, one thing you can complain about is the mendacity and complete lack of moral and ethics of the Premier League and the people that run it. But there you go.
There you go. So, would you like this week's Saudi Arabian etiquette, Neil, to help you in your pursuit of a job at Newcastle United football team?
Want to any howlers?
Absolutely. So, first of all, look out for the family sections of cafes and restaurants. If you're a male who is alone, as you are, don't go in, Neil. Do not go in.
Yeah. I think you've got some nefarious intentions.
Yeah, not without merit.
Never be too careful, can you?
Only shake a Muslim female's hand if offered by her. Otherwise, a simple hello or hold your hand over your heart. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, good. Try that one out. Use that one elsewhere.
So, do not have any water or food visible in public during Ramadan, even in your car, or you risk fines if you're in Saudi Arabia. That's quite a big one, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you would think you'd probably want some water in your car. I know, but I thought in Ramadan you couldn't eat between sunrise and sunset, but you could have water.
No, you can't eat or drink.
But I know,
unless
I know Muslims who do.
Well,
so,
I don't.
But they're from Bangladesh, so maybe it's not quite.
It might be variations. Let's face it. It's not consistent as with all religions, is it? But but as far as I know, I believe it's both food and drink, is what I've heard. But again, I'm not an expert on.
And finally, which is a bit of a kick in the teeth for left-handers, only use your right hand for shaking hands or for handling anything. It's considered rude to use your left hand in Islam. Don't know why.
Well, this might be just like somebody making things up, but I believe there's something about like you use one hand for washing and second hand for ablutions, and obviously you'd be, they'd be thoroughly clean and what have you, but just generally it's considered, rude to everyone knows you use one hand for
separate functions of the hands.
Yeah,
lovely. So there you go. Hopefully that will help you. What's in your when you fly over to Jeddah to try and weasel your way in with the Saudi investment fund.
I suspect MP can get me an opening, so looking forward to it.
Oh, there you go. You and Portillo could go on a little trade jaunt. He could do a TV show about the railways of the Arabian Peninsula
that they're building for the very TV show that he's doing them around.
Portillo in Arabia.
What a fascinatingly postmodern concept that would be.
Lovely. So, Neil, what are we looking at this week?
So, we are getting into legend, and it's through a few different countries in Africa. So, depending on where you want to go, originally started in Nigeria as Madam KoiKoi, but also known, and this is one I like, in South Africa, where it's sort of gone down as a story, the Pinky Pinky.
But the thing is as well, Nigeria and South Africa are quite far apart, aren't they?
Well, it's gone all the way down south, right to South Africa. It's spread, so it's sort
of northwest Africa, all the way to the southern tip of the continent.
Yeah, it's gone down through. It went Nigeria through Guyana, and then went through a whole load of other countries, and then all the way down to South Africa, where it's evolved somewhat. But we'll sort of get into that. So,
that's big.
You think this has got some legs? It's got to be a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, I like pinky pinkies.
We just wipe the flot swap away. So it starts in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the legend is she was a teacher in a secondary school, known for beauty and for wearing red high heels.
So my kind of lady. My kind of lady, and Krista Burr's kind of lady, probably.
Yeah. So whenever she walked in the hallways, her shoes would make the sound koi koi, apparently. I'm assuming that's onomatopoeic and not they would like speak or something, or like haunted high heels.
It could be the click click, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it's a bit like, I don't know if you remember, but when you were like
Koi.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, did you? Because onomatopoeia is like funny in different languages. Because I don't know if you're sort of like the whole thing with in different languages the noises or how you represent the noises an animal makes.
Oh, he goes whoa whoa rather than woof woof.
Exactly.
In the Hergé's books,
yes,
which I read a lot of when I was a kid.
It's that kind of thing where you'd say all the cats go, some other thing.
Woof woof.
Yeah. Smoking gulba and but yeah, so it was interesting to see how different languages are convey these things. Because
although it is funny that in China,
but that's equally inaccurate, I suspect.
But in China, Mao, like Chairman Mao, is cat, isn't it? Mao is cat because So his name was Chairman Cat, which takes the edge off the 15 million people starved.
Kind of a great leap forward without breaking a few eggs, Chris.
Chairman Cat's at it again. It's like the Shaggy DA or something like that. The Disney film where a a district attorney turns into a dog. That was during the golden age of Disney films where you had like The Cat from Outer Space, that's a good one. Or Digby, the world's biggest dog.
So,
Kurt Russell was probably in all of them.
District attorney in cat form.
What's that?
I imagine he wasn't a very effective district attorney in cat form.
Dog form.
Oh, dog form. Oh, well, either. Although, having said that, you look at some of them and you think probably turning him into a dog would be an improvement.
Oh, Neil.
I think district attorney satire there, Chris.
Oh,
moving swiftly on.
Going to be getting a few complaints, maybe summonses.
Iron box, tell you what.
Summonses from the district attorneys. We don't have them in the UK, do we? So they don't have jurisdiction over us.
They don't have jurisdiction over us.
So they can fuck off.
Unlike that crazy woman who was going on about invading Australia to free them from COVID restrictions or whatever shite she was coming in with.
What? Who was that?
Candy Sowens, I believe this lady's name. I've never fucking heard of her. I think she's
Is she an American DA or something?
No, it's an American talk show host, but she went on a rant about... I looked this up. It's hilarious. But it was basically, obviously, anti-vax, anti-masking and all the rest of it. And
fair enough.
Basically, I was just talking about... I think she's got family in Australia or something, just talking about the inhumane way all of the Aussies are treated and the totalitarian state that's being set up there. And when are we going to invade? Oh, of course we won't, because we don't believe in freedom in America anymore, do we? Thanks, Uncle Biden.
Right.
Uncle Mao.
Uncle Cat.
Yeah. The time was, Chris, America would have quite happily gone in on an ill-advised war to free Australia from itself, hopefully while looting it and profiteering through some war criminals. But
well, I mean, America has 100% success track records when it comes to the CIA meddling in other countries' affairs, doesn't it? Yeah. Deposing people because they want cheaper bananas, that kind of thing.
Only reason we're not
killing thousands of people because they want 2 cents off the banana costs, that kind of thing. It's all reasonable stuff.
People have got to have their banana pie on a Sunday.
Banana splits. Hey, I'm not paying 2 cents more for a banana split. Let's get rid of whoever, Contra or whatever. I don't know. No, they were the ones they funded. Who knows?
Wasn't that the basis of that? Is it 100 Years of Solitude or whatever? I seem to remember it being part of that. The banana. I don't know what the banana was, but whatever it's called, there was industrial action.
Well, it's where Banana Republic comes from, isn't it? which I'd say that we're very close to becoming.
Anyway,
yeah.
Right, enough of that. So she's beautiful when she wears red high heels. That's all right, isn't it?
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So you like that.
She sounds like Sharon Stone or something like that.
But she's very nasty to the students.
Wow.
And beat them up for no reason. So this is like the 50s.
Again, sounds like that Sharon Stone.
Yeah, exactly. So she was fired when she slapped a female student and injured her ear.
Oh.
And on her journey back home, she was involved in an accident and died. But before she died, she swore she'd have her revenge on the school and its students. Vengeful ghost again, Chris?
She doesn't sound like a nice person, even though she is sexy. So isn't that often the case?
Well, I don't know, but
you know, people who kind of can get away with stuff because they're good looking sometimes can act horribly.
Yeah, well, people can act horribly of all sorts.
Like Mussolini, you know, he was very good. He was an underwear model before he became
you wouldn't say that, would you?
What, to Mussolini? No way. That chin, get right in your gooch.
Just get out of my tape.
that chin would hit the male G-spot. Lovely.
Oh.
You know, but you know, he was an arsehole, wouldn't he? But you know, I'm attracted to bad boys, as you know.
Yes, you do like bad boys. And you know, he made the trains run on time, allegedly.
Wouldn't say no to Idi Amin. Big guy, ex-boxer, lovely. You know, we
also enjoyed wearing red high heels, I believe.
He did. He would wear them into the prison when he was going to force people fight to the death. Where click, click, click.
Put him off, just to see if anyone would like take the piss or look at him funny, and then he could get him.
Yeah, he had a really tight miniskirt on. He dressed very much like that woman from Birds of a Feather who lived next door.
Is it Doreen or something?
Doreen, yeah, something like that.
Or the local bike.
Yeah, he wore like it wasn't actually cheetah pattern top. It was actually cheetah skin top, tight leather skirt, red high heels, fuzzy wig. So
for absolutely everyone who doesn't understand what we're referencing, Birds of a Feather was an 80s sitcom where there were two Cockney ladies who lived next door to a posher elderly lady who used to dress up in very tight clothing and constantly going after men.
Yeah.
It's a kind of comedic premise that we enjoyed in the 80s in the UK.
Well, they've got that kind of thing in America. I can't.
Yeah, I guess it's it'd be like Peg Bundy's wife or something, I suppose, in Married with Children.
It'd be like so you call her a cougar, I guess.
Yes.
You call her a cougar.
That would be the modern term on the pram. Anyway, talking to cougars. So
yes, hello.
KoiKoi. So there she's getting run down. So I don't know when it is she's swearing revenge. Whether as the you know,
that's a paramedic
or something.
Or she goes over the roof.
Or maybe or it might be maybe she got run over and kind of like just
last breath. Oh, fucking get that school!
That's those fuckers.
I think they don't like being smacked in the head now. Wait till I'm a go.
Firm but fair, Chris. You know.
Well, I mean, we don't know how cheeky the kids were, do we?
Oh, yeah.
Cheeky kid needs a deafening.
Discipline ever since has gone downhill massively.
I bet the grades have gone down as well, and I bet the kids are allowed to use their mobile phones in class.
Yeah, in many ways, their own prospects are far worse than when they had some sort of firm but fair teaching. So bring back corporal punishment. That's what I say.
Sexy, firm but fair teaching,
and national service. Yeah, well, exactly.
That's what I want from a relationship.
It's a bit of carrot and stick, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whee.
Not long after the fatal accident, the students of the secondary school started hearing a KoiKoi sound in the hallways of their dormitories after lights out, almost like the clicking of heels on a floor. So it sounds like it's some sort of boarding school that she was in.
Even worse.
Yeah.
That's spooky.
I don't know. It's probably an English thing, but you would have thought they would have. They wouldn't have had a mixture of sexes of boys and girls in a. I don't.
There are mixed boarding schools, aren't they? But they just keep them separate.
Yeah, that's true. You just put them in different dormitories, didn't you? Obviously, yeah, fair enough. Okay, and in another tale, she's a very stylish woman who loved to wear high heel shoes, which was a look. But she was also said to be a very wicked teacher who would flog her students every chance she got.
Sounds like the first story.
Yeah. Some said she was a sadist and used to teach her as an excuse to inflict extreme pain and torture whenever she pleased. I can't imagine that ever happened. Can you, Chris?
What? I can't imagine.
Corporal punishment as an excuse to take out their own
I mean, very much in the same way that I can't imagine people who abuse children going for jobs where they work solely with children with very little oversight. Can't see it happening.
No, can't be. No.
Couldn't be a case. Yeah, no, there is that. Again, I would think that most teachers who used corporal punishment, which we don't have in the UK anymore, I think they're still allowed to do it technically in private schools, but I don't think they do. But it was banned in the early 80s, wasn't it? And I would imagine, but no, well, I don't know. But anyway, around that time. Yeah. But I would imagine that they had been through it themselves and were, again, like we discussed previously, quite damaged from the experience. And then, like people who are bullied.
Not justifying it and saying, oh, well, it's normal and it's what I
It happened to me, yeah. So it's, I don't know, it's like kind of getting
building.
It's misplaced anger, isn't it, really?
Yeah, or just, I had to put up with it, so everyone else should have to as well.
Which is a terrible way to look at the world.
Yes, try and step outside yourself and think more objectively. We can all do better.
Did you enjoy it? No, then don't do it to someone else. Quite simple.
But did it do you good?
No, because I'm here hitting kids.
Okay, but in this one, so she's a sadist and she's using a teacher to restrict them. But the students, this is a bit different, they rebel. They're not going to take it anymore, Chris.
Oh, good.
Tired of the school manager fellow to reprimand her. They decided to take matters in their own hands.
Did they play Another Brick in the Wall by
Pink Floyd? Yeah,
by Pink Floyd while they were rebelling.
And then Madame KoiKoi, a single tear rolled down her face, and a ghost.
Big cartoon hammer hit her.
And he healed the world. No, that's not what happened. As she was leaving the school, they cornered her, gagged her so she wouldn't scream, and beat her to death.
Ah, there you go. Well,
they didn't mean to. It was just hijinks, went a bit too far.
Yeah, live by the beatings.
You need firm discipline, Chris.
Well, I mean, you would say in this instance, the discipline didn't work, or it wasn't firm enough, maybe.
Exactly.
I mean, if they had broken arms, they couldn't have hit her. Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Or possibly even amputated arms,
If they'd all been in comas, I believe that you can still learn when you're asleep, can't you?
You can learn in a wheelchair.
Just put all the kids in medically induced comas when they don't need to be in there. Do the lessons, and then
probably stop distracting teachers so much.
And then shot of adrenaline in the heart when it's exam time.
Yeah, there you go.
Get a bit of muscle atrophy, but that'll yet again help with them not beating teachers to death.
Got a boring office job.
I don't need it. I don't need any muscles anymore. Do you?
Nah, I haven't walked for 6 years. Both of my feet have turned black, but I assume that's normal.
That's all right. That just means they're growing.
Yeah, exactly. I assume they're just some new ones will come out of the chrysalis that's forming.
Like beautiful butterflies.
Yeah, exactly. only more pure and beautiful than before. So then they realised what they'd done and threw her body over the school's back fence and ran away in hopes of making witnesses think the damage was caused by an arm robber.
By what?
I don't know what the plan was there.
To make it look like it was damaged by what?
Presumably, if they throw her over the fence, then it looks like it's happened outside and therefore robbed by someone else. I mean, I don't think that.
Or just could be animals. Animals could have done it.
Bunch of kids, they just panicked, didn't they?
Yeah. What would you have done?
When he was Chris, you beat your teacher to death.
What did you do when you beat your teacher to death, Neil?
Well, I just started digging, but
to try and get yourself to Australia.
I was like that fella from Goodfellas. It's like, you think I haven't buried a body before? No. Digging to try and get myself down under.
To try and warn them of the American threat.
Let's put them in the incinerator, but we didn't have an incinerator. It's not that kind of school.
No. Just don't know. Put them in one of those big oil barrels that you get the beans in, or something. Don't know. Who knows, Neil? Who knows? In the heat of the moment, you're all adrenalined up because you've beaten Steph, a stylish, sadistic teacher. Pop her over the fence.
It's a plan, isn't it? It's not a good plan, but it's something.
Onto the Basvic playing fields.
I get it.
Yeah,
So,
and they would have believed you too.
Oh yeah, they would have done.
Yeah.
So gradually, every student except the one who hit her with the shoe, doesn't recall it saying it hurt her. There we go. Apparently, she was hit with her shoe as well, Chris.
Her shoe, her stylish shoe.
Well, I would think so. You're not thematically very coherent otherwise. So all of them disappearing, and he constantly keeps telling everyone what he and the others had done, and he could hear the sound of high heels clacking around his hostel every night. It's all gone a bit Edgar Allan Poe now. And he believed that meant she was coming for him, but nobody believed him. I mean, to be honest with you, if he's constantly telling everyone that he's murdered his teacher, I'm surprised that the police haven't been involved at this point.
I don't know.
So maybe they were right to just fling her over the fence, to be honest with you.
There might have been a bit less affair in the outskirts of Lagos.
He got bigger fish to fry, to be honest with you. Anyway, one night...
Bigger bribes to take.
Yeah. I had to find out where the sound was coming from. However, he was beaten to death and his body was found the morning after. I mean, fair enough, if it was KoiKoi. So the school was shut down and all the kids were transferred to new schools. And then they went and spread the legend to the new schools. And she walks the halls of hostels at night, tormenting students and causing anyone who looks at her to disappear.
Oh. So that would explain why it spread in Nigeria.
So that's what's been around in Nigeria. And then it goes down into Ghana, where they have a similar legend, where a teacher, nothing about her being abusive or anything, but she's just teaching at a school, and this time the students are really troublesome.
Oh, dear.
And she's chasing them around all the time, trying to bring them to order. And then one day she chased a boy across the street, probably leave it alone at that point, waving one of her shoes in the air as she went, again.
But that's what I do.
Yeah.
So I do, like when they took down Saddam Hussein. And didn't some press member throw a shoe at George Bush or something?
Yeah, because apparently that's real disrespect or something.
Yeah, hitting someone hitting a picture of someone with a shoe.
Because you're like, whatever's on the bottom of my shoe, I think is the implication.
Yeah, but a lot of very wealthy people pay good money for a good shoeing, don't they? By a sexy lady in heels.
Exactly. He would pay top dollar for that kind of treatment. So. You'd known. Anyway, she's chasing this boy across the street, waving his shoe around in the air,
bang.
Limping because she's got one shoe on, one shoe off.
She had one of them was a built-up shoe. Yeah,
knocked down and killed, and her red high heel shoe just boom, into the air. One assumes.
And never came down.
Never came down. No, just went straight up to heaven and went and met God, and now lives with Jesus. And his disciples.
And God wears the shoe, and he came down to earth to find who
the cabinet of curios.
He came.
And some things.
Didn't he come down and go round and try and see who the shoe fit, like in Cinderella? Yeah, I believe that's where that story comes from the Bible.
Exactly, and then he took her up to heaven.
I married her, and the ugly sisters were really annoyed. The end. Right, scores.
Might as well, to be honest. So apparently her ghost is said to appear in classrooms in the form of a single red shoe, while a voice screams out, "Where's my shoe?" That's big,
A ghost turns up as a shoe.
I'll be honest with you, a little less imaginative in Guyana than they are in Nigeria.
Guyana or Ghana?
Ghana, sorry, excuse me. Ghana.
That reminds me of the early 90s cartoon called Hammerman, which was MC Hammer as a superhero. Yeah. And he had a big hammer, but his shoes had personalities and talked.
Yeah, and wasn't he biblically themed? It was like a holy man of some description.
I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't. It was during that period where Channel 4 would buy kind of weird cartoons from America, cheap because they were cheap. So you had Kid and Play's cartoon. We had a cartoon called Pro Stars, which starred Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and Bo Johnson. And used
Kid and Play were kind of cartoon characters already, really, weren't they?
Well, I don't know. Back to school. It's a 15, I think. It's got Karen Parsons in it, who played Hillary in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and she's very attractive.
Well, there you go. Anyway, look, supposing a demonic shoe turns up in your classroom, Chris, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
If you come across that, you're supposed to run and scream, "Madam High Heel."
Right.
I mean, yeah, okay. I think we might be losing something in translation here. So the story is since...
We meant to run and warn people, that basically says, doesn't it?
Oh, that's true, yes. Just in case somebody might see a shoe that is not actually corporeal.
Yeah.
Or however you describe that. So that would be frightening, wouldn't it? So
the shoe turns up. I mean, that's gold dust for pranking, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Ghanaian schools.
On a desk and go,
yeah, exactly. Just do that.
Not really. Oh. Look at this rubber pencil. Oh, that's funny, isn't it? I'll tell you what, do you remember though? Did you ever buy any of those toy pranks when you were a kid?
Yeah, some.
Fucking shit, weren't they?
Yeah.
Name a good one. So, like, plastic dog poo, that's not fooling anyone.
No, I've had one of them, definitely.
Fake cigarettes.
Yeah, they're fun. They kind of put off from...
You're not convincing anyone you're smoking a fucking snout.
Yeah, but you felt like your mum if you were me. No, there was all There's something like tiny. What was it like? Tiny mouse traps in something like in a chewing gum.
A chewing gum, but they weren't powerful enough to actually.
No, but they could make people start if only it looked like a proper chewing gum pack.
Which they never did.
No.
Like, the other one was one that would turn your mouth blue, but then it would just be like really fake.
Itching powder?
Yeah, itching powder, to be fair. Well, they used to make it out of glass. That was quite good.
Fiberglass, so it actually entered your body. Fiberglass and heavy metals.
Yeah, but,
so it poisoned your blood.
Yeah. And, oh God, what was the...
Whoopee cushions, obviously.
No, stink bombs. They were quite good.
Oh, I don't think I ever had stink bombs. You see, I liked pranks, but I didn't like pranks that would, be too unpleasant. Yeah.
Don't upset somebody. No.
Nah.
No, that's what they used to do around my school. Is like some kids, I think it'd be funny, shove a stink bomb in a window before somebody closes it.
Oh.
And they close it, you see.
We used to have an RE teacher who was quite old, and I won't name her, but in the classroom you had like a walk-in cupboard which had all the textbooks and stuff in, and she shouldn't laugh, but people constantly locked her in it when she went in to get stuff.
The sort of thing you do when you're a kid because you're a bit cruel, aren't you?
Well, I didn't do it, but people would just start chanting, "Lock her in the cupboard," and who's saying that? She'd get really annoyed and stamp her feet. But it got so bad that they had to install a phone, and she kept food in the cupboard.
I'm sorry, that is quite funny.
Just lock her in the cupboard and everyone just fuck off. Kids.
That's terrible, that is quite funny.
It's comprehensive school for you, mate.
Oh, good Lord.
Right, anyway. Madam Shoe.
Went to
I bet she haunts that school now.
She fucking wants to, you little bastard.
Getting a ghost locked in cupboards.
So this then spread around to Cameroon, Ghana, Tanzania, Rwanda, Zambia, and then through to South Africa. Different versions, but normally be around haunting schools with activities ranging from opening school doors, singing, whistling, attacking people in the toilets or bathroom.
Zambia's my favourite African country.
Which one is that?
Zambia. Because Chongo's from there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I want to go there at some point. Yeah. Go to Lusaka and that. See Victoria Falls. Yeah. Lovely. Difficult to get to. Can't get there direct. You have to go to the UAE or something and change flights.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of having a bit of a problem with flights at the moment because I've become more increasingly carbon footprint aware. I'm kind of like, can I justify getting flights for holidays and stuff anymore?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Yeah, because I've not been abroad for a good few years.
Yeah, 3 years I haven't.
yeah, at least that. And I do. Yeah, I kind of would like to go away again, but yeah, you do kind of think.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? And I don't know. Is driving less ecologically bad than flying? Probably is, isn't it?
Good than flying, I would have thought so. Although, if all of you, I don't know how that would pan out. But yeah, I think driving, and also there's ways you can. I mean, I don't know if you could. You probably aren't going to get an electrical vehicle all the way, that sort of thing. But in the future, maybe. But
and I've looked at carbon offsetting, but that seems to be a bit of a scam. So I don't know. It's tricky morally what to do because but then I'd like to visit the Americas because I've never been. But then I can't exactly get a steamboat over. Do you know what I mean?
I think you've just got to have a bit of a balance. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, me flying somewhere once every few years is doing less damage than people who fly constantly for business or, that kind of thing. So, like for unnecessary meetings.
Yeah.
Don't know. Got to work it out somehow. Because I don't really want to be stuck here forever.
No, absolutely. No, be away sometime. So we bring ourselves on to Pinky.
Pinky.
South African version. So what's interesting is they've expanded on it quite a bit.
Lovely.
So the Pinky is a creature that is part human, part animal.
Right.
Part man, part woman.
Very modern.
Preying on children in school toilets. And I am reading out the Wikipedia page here, verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
And threatening to rape girls if they wear pink underwear.
Right, well.
It's visible to girls, but invisible to boys who experience its presence through a slap or a scratch on the cheek.
I mean, South Africa...
You've taken quite a nice little urban legend there and made it very dark.
South Africa does have some issues with violence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In some of the townships.
High crime rates and stuff, as I understand. But, I've not been or know too much about it. But, I know I've met some people from South Africa before, and I think it's
quite horrific crimes.
Yeah.
In kind of Joburg and stuff.
Inequalities and poverty and what have you. So,
and also just kind of the cultural sort of, I guess, memory / legacy of having apartheid. Yeah. Don't be surprised if people are going to be a bit fucked up for a few generations after you've segregated them off and treated them as second-class citizens.
No, absolutely.
It'll take a while for that to wash out, you would think.
So I'm just looking at some other facts around on KoiKoi, because to be honest with you, it's one of those ones where it's spread around quite a lot, but there's not an awful lot around it. So just a few hints and tips for you, Chris, if you don't want to, you find yourself.
Well, you know that I always wear pink panties, so I mean that's obviously.
I don't want to victim shame, but you're asking for it, really, aren't you?
Well, I am, yeah. I'm not changing it. They're just more comfortable.
Bit of pinky action.
Get it where you can.
They're saying don't get out of bed at night and don't wear the colour red to sleep. So you'll want to be doing both of those things, presumably, Chris.
Well, as you know, I wear a red teddy bear onesie for sleep with my pink knickers on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the only thing I can sleep in.
And you're always wandering around, accidentally stumbling into people like me.
Yeah. Even though, I sleepwalk the mile or so to your house.
Yeah. I mean,
climb over the fence in the back garden and through the skylight. I don't remember any of it, Neil. I'm sleepwalking.
Yeah, whatever.
Get an Uber, sleep Uber. 5-star rating. Very good. Sleep small talk with the Uber driver. Lovely. Talk about sleep football, sleep holidays, sleep Brexit.
Oh, the Uber driver, I imagine, is up for a bit of that.
Give him some sleep tip. Yeah, it's all right. I think. I don't remember. I've been told it's all right. That's what That's what the star rating tells me.
Yeah, presumably that's just that's just the feedback that you've gotten from your app.
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Very engaging.
Yeah. For a person who's asleep, they're very engaging.
Very engaging. Some interesting views. Knows his football. Was only sick twice. 5 stars.
I think you'd lose a star for each of those, to be honest with you.
Nah. No, I don't think so.
I've never actually been in it either.
I have. I've been in a few. I've got 5 stars.
They rate their customers as well then, do they? Okay, that's interesting.
Mm. Yeah, because if you get low, if your star rating goes down, people just don't pick you up. Yeah, it's like that Black Mirror episode where everyone had star ratings.
Yeah, and they tried to launch a social media app that did something similar, didn't they? It was like you'd rate other people, and then it got a massive load of blowback, and then they.
I'm not surprised. That's horrible.
No, exactly. Somebody pointed out that it was psychotic. No, it's fun. It's a great way to engage with our incentivize people to not be knobs. But yeah, of course, because people will not score fairly or consistently on these things. It'll be more around, what you believe in and all that sort of nonsense.
Oh, it's just an absolute nightmare, isn't it? Doing that kind of thing. But
we're sleepwalking into that society anyway, Chris. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm quite good at sleepwalking, so I'll be all right.
Exactly. Yeah, sleepwalking. Yeah. Right. So, I think that. Pretty much about all we can say about
Well, what else shouldn't I do apart from not walk around and not wear my red teddy bear onesie and pink knickers?
Do you want me to make some stuff up? Because that's about all that's on the table.
Oh, is that all that's there?
Yeah, just don't wear red, basically. Just going
to... Is it because it reminds her of her shoes?
Yeah, it reminds her of when she was living and then would get involved with stuff. I mean, presumably don't wear, bright red lipstick.
Oh. But it makes my blue eyes pop.
Yeah, exactly. Don't play the single 99 Red Balloons.
That's my favourite song.
Yeah,
I like German 80s pop.
What that had to do with... it's probably really obvious if you listen to the lyrics, but isn't it something to do with nuclear war or something? Or
it is, yeah. Apparently, but I don't know what. Don't listen to the rapper Redman, presumably.
Yep.
Or Method Man and Redman, which would be a shame. Because
probably clear of the entire Wu-Tang Clan, to be honest with you.
Really? Why is that? So what else? So don't post any letters in mailboxes?
No, not UK red mailboxes, obviously. No,
don't do that. Don't answer the bat phone.
Oh, no, don't. Yeah, or the phone, what was it they used to call it, the hotline between the US and Russia?
Yeah, don't do that. Don't get your insurance from Direct Line, which is a anthropomorphic red phone, I believe. So there's a lot you're not meant to do. It's a minefield. I'm not surprised how many people are getting killed up by this mystery hermaphrodite.
Well, it goes back to what we said at the start. It's the ghost etiquette. Manners are different wherever you go, and in the afterlife, apparently they're different still. So if you don't know your way around, you get yourself into some trouble.
So is that
a clumsy attempt to thematically tie up this episode?
All right. So for this week, I have laid on the floor a 9 metre by 9 metre grid, all with separate numbers in. And I'm going to be scoring this based on which number my cat goes and sits on. So hopefully I'll be able to engage the power of the cat magic to come up with some reasonable scores. So, spookiness.
Cats are well-trained creatures.
They are very well trained. Spookiness. So I'll go first. So it's a good kids spooky story, isn't it? Like, there used to be a teacher who worked here, and if you see this, then that happens, and then you're worried you're going to see it, and all that kind of business.
Yeah.
It's like a good like kids story. Kind of I mean, it's gone really far, like surprisingly far. And I don't know why that is, because it's crossed languages, different cultures, I made it all the way from kind of northwest Africa down to the very southern tip.
Chris, sometimes the simple ones just go furthest.
Could be. Do you reckon it is a football chant?
Yeah.
About the red lady or something?
You're like, where's your shoe? Where's your fucking shoe? Where's your fucking shoe?
KoiKoi. Apparently the vuvuzela is used to ward off pinky pinkies. That's what I heard. I believe that
it wasn't just an annoying noise.
I believe that was on a BBC thing where they were looking into Garth Crooks looking into South African football before the 2008 World Cup, probably. I don't know when it was. 2006 maybe.
Yeah.
98. No, it's France 98, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? At least the stadiums are not being used now.
We've been out with all World Cups, stroke Olympics on the whole.
Yeah. Although we kind of got away with it in the UK, didn't we?
Did all right. I mean, we've had to do things like rent them to football clubs and stuff. But yeah, to be fair, they did put some legacy on. But whether it was value for money is a very different story. But
well, cool Britannia, isn't it? Don't worry about it.
Lots of money, Chris. So that's nice, isn't it?
Lovely bit of scratch for the Cockneys. Oi. I'm going to spend mine on Bow Bells. Don't know. what I spend it on. Pearly. What? Is it? Do Pearly Kings have buttons all over them or badges? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Buttons, I believe, but I'm not sure.
Yes, spend it all on buttons. Lovely.
Pearly buttons to stick on you.
And that's buttons, not the American buttons, which we call badges. So buttons as in, to do up a shirt or something. So spookiness, anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's a good kid story. It's got a couple of different things that happened. It seems the prevalent tale is she was hit by a car, but the other tale is she was beaten to death by a student. So I just lobbed her over a wall. I mean, the South African one's quite dark, to be honest. It's kind of like maybe taking it a bit far.
Horrifically dark.
Horrifically dark. But yeah, I don't know. If you got corporal punishment and stuff, I haven't grown up with that, but presumably kids have over there. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. So at schools, when they're empty, quite spooky, aren't they? I guess.
Really, to be honest with you, I used to clean my school. I used to do that for a bit of extra money. The spookiest thing around that was, so my round was normally reasonably okay, just mop like the floors and all the rest of it. But then during the summer, I had to sort of come in and get all the chewing gum off of the floors and then just buff these floors until they were really shiny. And then just seeing kids come in and like within literally half an hour, the entire thing was just like the same as it'd ever been.
Yeah.
And,
busy work, isn't it?
Yeah, waste of
time. So, I mean, yeah, it's not spectacular, but I'm going to give it a spookiness of 5. Neil, you go.
Yeah,
that's where my cat's at, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, hey, again, objective. So, yeah, I mean, the pinky stuff is more horrific and horrible than spooky. But there's a nice little story, as you say, for the general thing. So just go with the kind of like the abusive teacher that sort of dies and then swears unfair kind of retribution on the students.
Like we're finally rid of her, and then she comes back as a ghost. Fucking hell!
Now become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. There you go, bit of Star Wars for you.
Is that a Portillo quote?
Yeah, Portillo quote.
In Saudi Arabia.
It's when he's had a few too many and he starts revealing more of himself than he should.
Takes his tartan trousers off. There's Rupert the Bear scarf.
Yeah. Oh. Handsy Rupert the Bear. No. Yeah, I mean, there's not much in this around what actually kind of like what happens if somebody stumbles across it. Well, they said it like slap the cheeks and stuff like that. I mean, it would be weird and a bit spooky, but it's not other than
or a raping, apparently.
Yeah, with a big pinky side, then does get very far too specific. So I was just thinking as I was saying that, actually, maybe best left to the imagination if you can go down that territory. So nice and spooky, but nothing major. So I'll probably go with a 5 as well.
Okay, believability, Neil. You can go first.
Then. I mean, again, to be honest with you, what's quite clever is they've said it in schools. And as I was talking on one of our previous episodes about, the Amityville, we used to talk about that when I was a kid. And these are the kind of things that fuel your imagination when you're a child. So actually, I'm going to, do I believe in this myself? No, not really. But actually setting it in schools and setting it with a kid, you can imagine it's the sort of thing that would, set the rumours amongst you. When you're at school, there's all sorts of silly rumours that go around. When you can
have a telephone game.
Exactly, yeah. There's all sorts of the daft stuff, and you kind of half believe it, especially when you're quite young. So, I think I'm going to go up a bit on this one, just because I think it would be something that probably did spread around classrooms and sort of like if somebody did play a prank where there was suddenly a red shoe appeared out of nowhere, you probably would shoot it. So I'm going to give it a 6.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those which we've all probably had where you hear rumours about stuff happening in other schools. Like my mate says that this happened in his brother's school, that kind of thing. Like with the Gorbals vampire, although I would say that these kids aren't as tough as the kids of the Gorbals, because they're not going out hunting to kill the woman. Get all tough. I'm going to hit her with a car jack. So I imagine if you're a kid, then it is quite believable and scary. I think school's probably quite scary if teachers are knocking you about, it's the rumour mill, isn't it? It's the kids' rumour mill that we can all recognise from school. Nothing ever happened in your school, but it always happened in the next school over, kind of thing. So, do I believe that in the ghosts coming back and doing all these horrible things? Probably not. But I mean, I'm going to give it a solid 5 again for believability, because I think it is probably the kids probably do believe it, because kids be kids. So, Reach. Well, I've not heard of it before. Well, I have heard of it, but I've specifically looked into urban legends. But people probably haven't heard of it. And it doesn't say when it started.
Sounds like about the 60s.
Yeah, so it's probably 50 years old. But, I mean, the reach going all across, it basically sounds like across all of sub-Saharan Africa, basically, which is huge, right? It doesn't sound like there's been any film. Has there been any films or anything, Neil?
Not that I could see of, no. So,
well, there we go. Take that to a production company. So it hasn't got any films or anything. It's a proper urban legend, word of mouth one. But I mean, sounds like it's 500 million people have probably heard of it. So it's big. It's a big urban legend. It's not gone global, but it has, pretty much spread over a continent. So I'm going to give it an 8.
Yep. So similar kind of logic, to be honest with you. I think some of the ones we do are kind of like quite a bit bigger in terms of they'll go over, centuries or worldwide or things like that. But it's obviously spread quite fast, so it's got a massive reach throughout Africa. So that's a 7 for me.
7, nice. And narrative premise, Neil, you can go first.
Yeah, it's not bad actually. I mean, there's not loads to this, but obviously you've got a couple of variations. I mean, I'm gonna, as much as I enjoyed the pink as a name, I didn't like the narrative of that. Frankly, it's a bit awful. So
too much.
Yeah, it's too much. You're laying it on too thick. I think you too much chili in the pot. So but no, the idea that I think, as we were saying, you've got a horrible teacher who then sort of passes away, or I suppose there's 2 elements, isn't it? You've got the one where she gets killed but comes back and haunts the students, and that feels really unfair. Or there's the that kind of I know what you did last summer thing. Where
we did it by accident. We only if only I'd kicked you in the head a few times less.
so you've got your own guilt to contend with. Those are both quite nice sort of narrative streams. It's quite a nice thing to hook on. And I think the fact that it's gone, obviously it's had so many retellings through schools because it must have, it's got a nice sort of deep narrative. Well, it's got a nice hook into it, basically. So there's not a lot in terms of story, etc. But it's just quite a nice kind of thing to hook stuff on. And I can imagine all sorts of embellishments coming out from various different parts where people are telling it. So on that basis, I'm going to give it another 7.
Another 7. Yeah, I mean, it's a good, solid narrative for a kid's. What are they scared of the most? Teachers that hit them, probably. And one
general be quite scary.
Yeah, and one of them dies and then comes back even worse, or they do what probably the kids dream of doing, which is give them a kicking, and then it dies and then comes back and kills them all. So it's like, it's a good one. I like the fact that she's specifically sexy. I'd like to meet her. The fact that she's stylish or sexy what's that in there for? The dads? Like, it doesn't seem to be really part of the. That doesn't seem a necessary part of the story, unless it's don't trust people who are overly sexy. Which
Well, I imagine. Let's say you're all kids. You're of a certain age. Then there's that extra pressure, isn't there? Because it's like you're halfway between finding teachers. It's like there's I don't know, what's the word? You're just you're going through some changes in your life. You're starting to.
I can't wait till I do.
It's sort of like quite attractive and all the rest.
Have you got your pubes yet?
I've got 3.
3. That's all right. It's 3 more than me. Yeah, I guess so. There's that. Yeah, I only really ever fancied one teacher at school. Pretty slim pickings, but that's another story for another time. Yeah, so
not attractive, Chris.
Huh?
Never mind.
Yeah, the one which I liked was the one who kept getting locked in the cupboard, obviously.
That's what you basically were just, you.
It was flirting with an 80-year-old RE teacher. Yeah, it's done. It's a good, like the narrative isn't great, but the premise is very good. I'd say it's a good, strong one. I'm going to give it 6, which gives us an overall total of 49.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. It's selling like hotcakes.
Nice,
isn't it? It's done very well. So if you have a version of a less horrific version of the Pinky, I don't want to hear anything that's worse than that, really, or the KoiKoi in your part of the world. Get in touch. urb.legends@gmail.com. And please remember, next time you're back in school for whatever reason, maybe you're cleaning it like Neil here, or maybe it's a parent-teacher night, or maybe you're listening to this and you're young, which I would suggest not to do. And you see a sexy red stiletto appear on the desk. Don't have nightmares or an erection.
They run away shouting, "Miss High Heel is coming."
Exactly. And that's it from this week's Urban Legend. KoiKoi.
I got it.